So sales is all about, not pushing somebody, or it's just not, convincing people. It's all about, conviction and clarity. Value is simply the byproduct of of my service. If again, even if to bring value, I would need you to make a decision first. And to make a decision, either I could, simply sell it to you through emotions, maybe features.
Any specific platform out of it that, which truly test a salesperson's skills? So their go-to-market person, I think, for the salespeople is Shakespeare. What do you think about this? That, they always try to recycle those punchy and cheesy lines and throw them to the clients. So what's your aspect about this? Is this true?
Manipulation is actually helping somebody with clarity and, bringing a real-time benefit to them. Okay, that is absolutely ethical. And again, as I said, sell me this pen and all of these, fancy videos that we've been saying on the social media. Scripts don't work, honestly.
Hello everyone, welcome to the next episode of Vaival Podcast Lounge. I'm your host Shiraz Iqbal. And before hopping onto this episode, I would like to say that thank you so much for your continuous support till now to seeing out this podcast series. And I would request you all to please subscribe our YouTube channel, ring the bell icon, and along with that, please follow us on our social channels as well. So you can keep getting updates regarding our full-length episodes along with the short videos that covers very, very exciting topics from the individual podcasts. And today, I am having Usama Manj, who is heading the client operations and strategic growth in Vaival Technologies. Hello, Usama. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you so much.
All right. So this was, this is very important for me to have you in this podcast episode because this was, I think, much waited for me.
Yeah.
And to have you, especially, a personnel from the sales and growth world, it would be a very, very exciting episode for me as well.
Same here. Likewise. I'm actually excited. Finally happening.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Usama, I usually start with the, with the episode, asking the question to every individual, what's your background, how it all started, and what shaped you, being a professional you are today, and how your journey was started towards the sales side.
Okay, that's a complete story, in fact.
Yeah.
Just like everybody, I graduated in information technology with majors in project management and simply jumped on to being a typical software engineer initially. And that's where I realized, working over an internship with at the software house that my teacher started actually. So that's where I realized this is something not for me. I cannot be a programmer, but I have this natural skill in me that is I'm good at listening and having, just general conversations with the people. So I simply pivoted to being a project manager, and that is where I saw, I can do better over my career. So while working with, software houses and startup owners, I've been fortunate enough that while working at that internship, I got a chance to work with a startup which was actually working in LUMS, and that back time they were incubated at LUMS Center for Entrepreneurship. So that was my first professional gig actually. And I was working for them as a sales project coordinator. Right? And it was, real estate startup, simply pivoting to involving tech in their product. So that is where I learned that I can be a person who can have good conversations and make people believe about a solution just through conversation. And that is where my first sale happened. So eventually that's how I simply pivoted into in growth in sales. And moving forward, again, I've been fortunate enough in my total career of around 13 years. I've been working either with the startups, founders across the world, and that has taught me to accept no's actually. So every single no has allowed me to simply turn myself into having better conversations and making people simply transform from point A to point Z. And that is how I came into sales. So in a nutshell, to answer your question, I think I didn't choose sales. Sales or maybe destiny chose sales for me actually. Yeah.
So destiny plays its part everywhere.
Absolutely.
That's what I believe. And but the important thing what I see in your journey is that you started from the ground zero and eventually elevated yourself today where you are at. So I think for any individual, it's very important to learn these aspects from the very, very at the lower stage, I would say the ground zero part. And that's what you did, right?
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, again, going back in the history, I mean, the goal was when I graduated was not to simply, get a good corporate job, work with a big company. I mean, I always have wanted to work with, these founding companies, what is happening in the Silicon Valley, how these founders turn their companies into, $1 million assets, actually. So I wanted to work with people, who are still at a building stage, actually. So that allowed me to, work with sort of being a jack of all trades, maybe.
Yeah.
So again, since you work with the founders and entrepreneurs, this gives you a liberty to adapt and get a flavor of all single aspects of doing business.
Absolutely.
I mean, sales, finance, operations.
Yeah.
So that is how that was the G's that kept me going.
And one thing I also noticed that you also I think for anyone in the world, it's very important to to know yourself.
Oh,
So
absolutely.
you identified in the very beginning that, like you told us, that the programming game is not for you. You have some other game. You
Yeah.
have some other skill set in yourself, and that's where you need to groom yourself and go ahead, right? So that's very important, and I would say that those people are blessed and lucky, where they identified themselves that this is the area where I need to focus more, right?
Exactly. Absolutely.
Yeah. And now coming towards your core part, that's sales and growth, the strategic side. For any business, we all know sales are very important. The revenue is always the core component where every business is focusing today. So most people see sales as just selling. And we usually see salespeople just making up different lines. And what we see sales as, just selling things or services, whatever you have in your bucket. But for every core salesperson's definition is totally different. So what's your definition of sales?
So basically, it's a fun question, honestly.
Yeah.
So this sell with this pen concept has actually, changed definitions of people a lot,
Yeah.
and they have their own definitions of doing this.
And many videos are out there on
So
this.
sell with this pen, sell with this pen. So yeah, see, number one, if I'm in sales, that's my job. Of course, I'm going to sell, and I have to, because if I would not, the cash flow won't come in, and there would be no money on the table. And of course, I have, we have people working for us, and their kitchens to be made, and that's all dependent on on our shoulders in particular. Coming back to the second aspect of this is basically, as Alex Hormozy says, that in sales, if you simply believe in your offer better than their objection, that's a win for you.
Yeah.
So if I'm in sales, if I don't believe in the transformation that I can bring for you, for example, you're in marketing, and if I have something very important to you, simply automate your marketing, and that can actually simply automate your process. So that's my product. So sales is all about not pushing somebody, or it's just not convincing people. It's all about conviction and clarity. That's it. So that's my definition of sales. Simple. If you can help people make clear decisions, that is it. That's my definition of sales.
So we can say this, that bringing value to their table.
See, value is simply the byproduct of
Yeah.
of my service. If again, even if to bring value, I would need you to make a decision first.
Yeah.
And to make a decision, either I could simply sell it to you through emotions, maybe features, but it's all about conviction and clarity.
Absolutely.
From going from point A to point Z. So that is the simple definition of sales.
All right. So in every business, in every niche, we see that there are two sides of sales. One is the traditional sales, and with a lot of technological advancements, we now have digital sales part.
Yeah.
So my question is that how do you see them individually, the traditional sales and traditional sales, and is really there is a shift in the process, or just it's about the platform's gimmick, I would say?
Absolutely, there has been a significant shift, honestly. But although the concepts of traditional sales have been the best, and I still love them. But technology is, of course, changed things. For example, in traditional sales, you're more belly to belly, shaking hands, having coffees, you're doing, knocking doors.
Yeah.
So that was the old way, but that used to allow, build trust in a real way, actually. But if we, simply see towards the digital sales, the speed has been the anchor in digital sales. You can just pick up my phone and can reach out to 30,000 prospects probably in a month now. So that is the only difference. Digital sales has simply amplified and accelerated the process. So that's the biggest change that has happened over the years in digital sales, I believe.
So basically, it provides a lot of assistance to the sales process.
Exactly.
All right. So coming towards the next part, that you told us that there is assistance in the, with these platforms. There is an assistance in the digital sales. But which platform do you think? Like, you are working in the SaaS industry from last 13 years. I've been into this industry for more than 12 years. And we have seen that so many platforms are actually bringing value and providing ease to the salespeople. Some of the platforms today that we have is LinkedIn, Upwork, Fiverr, and so on. But any specific platform out of it that which truly test a salesperson's skills?
This has been a lot of debate again, especially from the region where we belong to. People have done excellent using these marketplaces like Upwork, Fiverr, and there's still a lot of agencies out of Pakistan doing exceptionally well on all of these platforms. But you're not building a real-time asset. No offense against these platforms, but I certainly believe the G's of building relationships is way different rather than just going on a platform and being in the same contest everybody is in.
Absolutely.
So of course, when you're in B2B direct sales, there is no better platform than LinkedIn in this world right now. So for example, LinkedIn. Take LinkedIn as, LinkedIn is not, I don't take it as a social platform actually. Just take it as a 24/7 conference, live conference, available, accessible through internet. And anyone at any time can just walk in and start networking at any time and close deals. So that's sort of the power of LinkedIn actually. You can build a brand, you can make people believe in you, and you can even close 6-7 figure deals without having a single sales call. So that is what LinkedIn does for you. So I know a lot of people, a lot of solopreneurs building brands, running small, medium businesses, and they're doing exceptionally well in a very short span using LinkedIn. So I take LinkedIn as a 24/7 available networking conference available for everyone, open to everyone. So there is no comparison to LinkedIn.
So
right now.
your, I can say this, that your go-to platform is LinkedIn.
Yes.
For
Absolutely.
every single aspect, to get in touch, to build relationships, to gain more attention of the clients or to the new prospects.
Absolutely.
I would say
there are others too, but there is no comparison to LinkedIn. People are getting sales through Reddit, Instagram, Twitter. Twitter has been very good, in particular to SaaS industry as well, in terms of building personal brands. But all of these brands or platforms other than LinkedIn are very good for inbound actually. But in specific to traditional, outbound, I think LinkedIn is still the top one.
All right. So, and you talked about the significance of relationship, and in every question I asked you till now, you talked about that relationships are very important, whether you talk about the traditional sales or on the digital side. Do you think coming these advancements into the sales process, do you think relationships still matter a lot?
100%. Again, as I mentioned earlier, that to convince someone to believe in my solution, product, or XYZ, whatever I'm selling to them, is only through if I bring certainty on the table, of course. And certainty comes only if I am, make you, trust on me. If you don't have a trust on me, you won't buy from me, of course. And rationally, this is what, traditional sales from digital sales allowing people is that you can actually not specifically sell only on the basis of features, pricing, but you have other aspects to sell through. And this has the psychological effect on the buyers as well. Now they don't buy specifically on the basis of features. It's just about the emotional connection.
Absolutely.
So, sales is again about having natural conversations with people, just identifying a simple bottleneck, maybe a problem, and just placing yourself at the right time. And that is only possible if you've been able to, make them speak with you. So the best closers in the world are the ones who actually are very good at listening. Yes. And only then if you're, if a prospect is speaking his heart out with you, that means you're actually able to build a relationship with you. And only then that means he'll be able to trust you. And if he'll be able to trust you, he'll be, of course, feel certain of making a certain decision with you. So that is exactly 100%. Relationships are important.
Yeah. So it doesn't matter that you are in the traditional or digital sales side. Yes. Relationship, always matters.
Absolutely.
So the next thing is that we think about salespeople to bring some very cheesy lines to the table every single time when they come across the clients. So, and they often take punchy lines from the Shakespeare's. So so their go-to-market person, I think, for the salespeople is Shakespeare. What do you think about this? That they always try to recycle those punchy and cheesy lines and throw them to the clients. So what's your aspect about this? Is this true?
Let me give you a very recent example. I mean, I think I've been working on this this prospect together. So I have a junior AE in my team, and I was actually busy on some meeting, so I asked him to go on the call and have it. And he said, I'm not actually prepared, so let me take a script along. So based on the scope and the notes we had from our SDR team was something that he is looking for an AI automation for simply automating his specific aspect of his business. So when we went on the call, the guy simply said, hey, the requirement that I had earlier is not in the priority. I have something different in mind.
Okay.
So that is
where you're saying now.
Yes. So if you have a script, it won't work actually. And again, as I said, sell me this pen and all of these fancy videos that we've been saying on the social media. Scripts don't work, honestly.
Yeah.
I'll be very honest. This is something how I started in my career as well. Planning and manifesting about each single prospect, whether that how I'm going to start my conversation. How am I going to simply ask questions? And when you simply jump onto the call, there comes a one counter from the prospect, and things entirely change in the conversation.
Absolutely.
So coming back to the answer, I believe if Shakespeare has been into sales, it could have been a disaster. Again, no offense to the Shakespeare fans, but he's more about poems. Okay, but sales is all about building synergies and connections. So that is only possible when you stay real in conversations and simply learn.
Coming in more naturally.
Yeah, in sales, you don't need scripts, you need frameworks actually.
Absolutely.
How am I going to simply have my openers planned? How am I going to simply have the assessment on the call? How exactly I'm going to align the next steps? How exactly what would be my framework after the call? How am I supposed to build a relationship with this prospect? So if you start building frameworks of your own, that is the only pattern you need to be successful in sales.
Simplifying this, to understand your client more in a more better way.
Yes. And just simply turn those notes into frameworks of your own. That how exactly I'm going to have an openers, have conversations, how am I supposed to nurture this prospect, what would be my strategy. As long as you start building your own frameworks, they would fit in every conversation moving forward.
All right. So no harsh feeling for the Shakespeare fans.
Absolutely.
So the next question is that, are you a coffee guy or a tea guy?
Oh, I'm a coffee guy. Absolutely.
Coffee guy. So most answers from the salespeople are that we are the coffee guy. So starting from this part, that to do anything in life, what I personally feel is you have to have some real good confidence in yourself to jump into something that for instance, I say that I am confident that I can bring the best solution of marketing to your table. So having that sort of confidence will definitely give me a very, very high boost. So similarly, for you people, how many coffee cups would it take to to believe in your own pitch before going after the client?
For coffee, as long as it's coffee, I can have as many cups I want. But that also depends on my mood as well for the day. That also depends on the moods of the people I'm supposed to be meeting today, the kind of conversations I'll be having. But for a serious answer, I think for a person in sales, it's actually the real caffeine is solving problems for the people he's speaking to. So the real G's is, as long as you're able to have money coming in, that's the real caffeine. So probably if I'm if I'm having a good day, I can even manage on the 2 cups. But if I'm having a bad day, even the 200 cups won't fill the need in that case.
Don't you think that it's a too serious and rigid answer that our caffeine is just closing the deals?
Absolutely, because this is, I get this questions asked a lot of times that, of course, okay, we've met the target this month, what's next? And I say, just jump on to the next step, next target. So there is no full stop in our space.
Absolutely. you need to have some sort of target with you. Otherwise, there would be a stuck in your life. So you need to have some targets, and eventually, you need to go after it very, very aggressively to have some boost with that. So I'll come with that. You are a coffee guy, and you love to have multiple cups of coffee, and your caffeine is closing the deals. All right. So Usama, next part is about some questions related to AI. Which I asked from the from the people in the last episodes of my podcast. AI is coming into every single part of life now. We have seen that whether in any department, AI is bringing itself and making a place, just not coming in, making the place. So how do you see AI is reshaping the sales world? From the prospecting part to the closing part, and is it really assisting the salespeople at the moment?
Now we're coming to the actual part of this conversation, because AI for sales is is the most hottest debate right now. I mean, of course, AI versus humans is too, but in specific to the real transformation happening in AI as AI for sales is probably the hottest part these days. To answer this question, let's just think of it. I mean, AI as just an engine to the train. Okay, and humans are the drivers of it. That is the simplest answer to this. So yes, AI is the power these days, giving you the power to amplify your process, and it is taking over certain aspects and certain functions.
Okay,
and it has helped us, probably move with not 2x, in fact 6x speed to reach out to our prospects and get to our goals. So that is exactly where AI has proven to be successful so far. And specific to sales industry.
Okay, so you see that it is valuable in the sales.
Yes, exactly.
And the next is that agentic AI transformation. There are so many agents in every niche that are coming on, and continuously we are saying that so many products related to the agentic transformation are coming in. So for specifically when you talk about the sales, what type of agents are actually helping you in the sales processes?
Okay, so there are a lot of these. See, a lot of people would say that we're using XYZ product, we're using XYZ tool, but I certainly think that is where AI has also started to backfire actually. And even this is the biggest objection that I even get along when I go into the sales call. I met a prospect and he said, we are already using Microsoft Code. It's one of the largest construction companies in the country. When I spoke to him and he said, the guy was actually the chairman of it. No offense, but he said that we're actually using Microsoft Copilot in our company, which I believe is doing a lot of stuff for us, but I think that's enough for us.
Okay.
So that was something, was an eye opener for me. And so this is where, the gap is in terms of AI. Either it's for sales or any other function of the business. Using AI and doing AI is absolutely different.
Okay. And how would you differentiate it?
Just take an example. For if you're building a skyscraper, you need to have solid foundations first. Only then a skyscraper would be able to, function properly. So that is exactly, when you're stepping into AI, it's important to have, the right scalability and governance first in place.
The foundation has to be very strong.
The foundation is always starting with a low specific use case, even within your department.
Okay.
So we started with simply automating our client operations first, and not entire client operations. Just the first function that we adapted was simply automating my assistants. As for example, building an EA for my own self, which simply reads all my emails of the prospects, plans my next steps, and put them into the CRM only.
And just one part that I see most genius people they are doing exactly the same way. They are starting with AI, just to starting with assistants by themselves, to have someone like assisting them.
Yes, exactly.
So to build something for yourself rather than to just throw the product or build the product for the market.
See, the problem is now the information is too much. Actually, people are so overwhelmed with the information, even on AI, and even for a certain function. I have almost 100 products available in AI in particular. For example, if I need design services, there are a lot of apps coming in just to simply automate my designing paths.
Yeah, and too
And
much
that has
information.
actually have started to confuse people as well,
Yeah.
that what is exactly the right one. And since they buy a lot of subscriptions, and then eventually
Exactly.
they all go into the bin eventually because nothing is working and solving the real problem for them. So tools are there just to maybe amplify your certain
absolutely.
task that you perform. But I certainly think before adapting any tool, you need to identify the real bottleneck in your process, in your workflows,
And
that you really want to simply automate and can save you time first. So the goal is to simply save time, so I can actually put my bandwidth into something more important that can make me think up towards more scalability, and somebody can actually take over, which is up 24/7.
absolutely.
That is the goal, and that is exactly what we're doing internally too.
And what I see is that too much information is also very dangerous. You know, so I really like your answer that you need to identify the bottleneck first, and to have something around that, just to not just getting information from every single cycle, and that makes you more vulnerable to things, right?
Exactly.
All right. So and talking about the AI, do you think that AI will ever replace humans? That's the first part of the question. And if not, do you think that human touch is always a necessity in the sales process?
I've researched a lot on this, and I've listened to a lot of other podcasts, books. I've read a lot of books on this as well. I certainly think in the recent, the examples that have now started to come in after some big implementations happening, and some of the biggest companies have started to, they've already implemented AI, but it has already backfired significantly. Budgets are being wasted already. So the answer to this question is, it is not anymore AI versus humans. So AI is just replacing functions only.
Functions, yeah.
Yes. And AI is just doing the grunt work. Okay. I still believe, when it comes to trust, emotions, you cannot replace humans on that. And you need them. So it's, the new wave would be, and the people who are actually getting results, out of these two cards the success one has, are the only ones who've been able to choose, or maybe had this hybrid approach coming in.
Yeah.
So the future is this hybrid approach, at how exactly using AI and keeping humans along in the process, we can certainly move from point A to point Z.
So I can say that it would always be a hybrid model.
It would always be a hybrid model.
So it can't be only AI, can be only humans.
No, it would be both.
It would be both.
Yes. So people who are actually still stubborn enough not to adapt AI, they are being replaced, and they will be replaced.
All right. So you don't see a world where the AI will taking charge of everything?
No.
Anywhere in the future?
No.
Okay, that's very, very blunt answer to that.
This is not because the nature's processes and the nature's gifts to this world will stay. Yeah. And I don't think they can be replaced.
Beautiful answer, I would say. So, for instance, pick yourself in an example that the company gives you a full scaled AI team, and you need to go with it. Would you trust it and to go with it? Or you would say that I still need you.
Yeah, I would stick to my last answer. The answer is a 50%. I'd still go for an AI team and 50% for a human team, and that is exactly what is happening.
Okay.
And we've already you're the witness of that too as well, that we've already started implementing this somehow as well. We've been using a few tools to simply not add more people.
Yeah.
Simply just see if we can save the time of the current assets that we have, and simply automate a few processes, and can amplify things for our existing team. And that is the only objective and the only focus right now. So to answer this, yes, I would stay to a 50-50 approach. Of course, I would still use it to certain bottlenecks to improve things where we still lack, and take AI. But when it comes to closing, trust, clarity, conviction, I would always keep my team to do that.
Yeah. So a no to a full scale AI team.
Yes.
That's interesting. So we talked about AI, and now coming towards some data part as well. There are so many tools that are actually helping people with the data analysis as well. The AI tools. And today, we have some major advancement, like to judge and to know the customer's behavior. And so, for instance, if you are going with a client in a meeting, and that AI predicts the behavior of the client for you, is it ethical to use that information? Just fear of missing out. For some people, we use the things that can create fear of missing out function in that. So is it ethical to use that kind of information, to close the deals?
Excellent question. See, if manipulation is actually helping somebody with clarity and bringing a real-time benefit to them, okay, that is absolutely ethical.
Okay.
But if you're just doing it to hit your quota and close deals for the sake of closing deals, probably this would give you a short-term gain, but since we've been talking about building relationships, it would significantly backfire. So that is not ethical. So creating fake FOMO is not ethical.
I would say that a very diplomatic answer would be
that's what I do best, actually.
Yeah, that's your work.
Exactly.
But you did it very, very nicely.
Thank you. I'll take it as a compliment.
And so, eventually, if you talk about the benefit of the end user, and if you are doing that, that's correct, and you are doing it rightly.
Exactly.
Right?
If I'm able to solve a genuine problem that you are actually not able to, and you are not able to, see, that's very similar to going to a doctor. Okay.
Yeah.
And I know, what problem do you have?
Yeah.
Okay? And you just go and say that I have a knee pain. Okay. And doctor actually knows this can be handled by giving you a certain medicine, but I still want to be sure about it.
Yeah.
So I would say, okay, go have some tests, get me an X-ray, and then I'll diagnose.
Absolutely.
So that is exactly what I'm saying in this, So
another wonderful example from a salesperson.
Yeah, exactly. What if I give you a medicine that is, just solving the problem for the shorter period of time to maybe a painkiller, but it would not eventually solve the real problem. Exactly. Wow. So that is exactly, what we do. We are diagnosticians in sales, actually. And that is how I recommend people in sales, just, rather than just pitching a product, be diagnosticians. That is exactly the framework we have built. When we go on the call, it's just, I set this expectation before being on the call that for the next 30 minutes, it is just an assessment call. Okay. I want to understand, what bottlenecks you have, your problems, your positives, your bads, anything that you can share that can help me map out a right solution for you. That's it.
Wonderful answer, but let me change the scenario a little bit around here. So, for instance, you are using the AI for these kind of information, and you are in a meeting with the client, and suddenly, AI makes a blunder, somewhere. And so, how would you recover in that situation?
That has happened. Even recently, I was using this tool, and it actually helps you with live transcripts and notes. And there are a lot of tools for this, by the way. Note takers are already, but this tool is specifically for salespeople. It actually, sort of gives you live scripts based on, the chat you're having with the prospect. And I don't know what happened to, my buds, and somehow the AI was actually not able to get the right feed from, the prospect coming in, and he started to give me some answers that I actually mentioned in the call.
Okay.
And they were nowhere, what exactly he's been quoting, and he just simply said that you are not actively listening to me. So it backfired as well. Okay. So that is what I said.
Very interesting situation.
Yeah, this happens if you're experimenting.
Which no one wants.
Yeah. But the counter is, again, the good part is what I said. I've been able to handle that on the call. Is when you are actually honest. I simply said, I believe I shared this with the prospect, okay, that I believe my AI has not had his morning coffee yet, and it looks like he needs a break. So can we have a break? So it actually, that switched the moods, and we went back to a normal conversation. So that happens. That's part of the game.
So you went naturally, I think.
Yes, and that is the only way.
The earlier answer that you said that, going in a natural way would be a good thing for you.
Exactly.
To make clear things for your client as well.
Exactly.
All right. So till now, it's not about just months or weeks. It's some years back that, AI is taking, its place in different industries and businesses as well. So, but still, you pitch to a client an AI solution, but he refuses to, use it because people are still very, very reluctant to use AI. So how would you convince him, to use it for their own benefit? How would you do that?
I believe they're not reluctant. It's just, again, as I said earlier, it's too much of information for them to absorb. So they're actually not able to make a decision which is the right part for them, or maybe the right, option for them.
Yes.
And that is what, simply stopping them, maybe not use it, or if they're using it, they're not simply seeing the right value out of it.
Absolutely.
So this is where I always say that if you're struggling with something, that this is where you need a mentor. This is where you need somebody to help you out rather than just simply trying it out on your own. So that is the only way I think to go with it. If you're not able to do something, bring somebody who's expert, can do it for you, and there's no harm in it. So again, this is as I given the this doctor patient example that fits here as well. If you're having pain, go see a doctor rather than just trying it on your own. So this is exactly what is happening.
It's actually building the trust in the person to use it in action.
Yes.
So for their own benefit, right? So apart from this, when you talk about different sales roles in your department, even you have so many sales rep with you, and you are pitching to clients every single day for different services. So different functions are there, but what do you think? Which role will not be replaced by AI in the coming future?
Will not be replaced.
Specifically for the sales department.
I think enterprise closers will never ever be replaced.
Okay.
People who actually close 7, 8, 9 figure deals, they cannot be replaced. The top 1% actually in this industry. And the reason is because when you go to that level, there's a lot of stakeholders, there are a lot of stages that you have to pass through to get to a deal.
Absolutely.
So they're like
money comes in.
Exactly. Money comes at, you can turn, at our level as well.
Yes, absolutely.
At a mid-tier as well, that's possible, but we are all doing it for money eventually.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I believe enterprise closers will never be replaced. Again, the top 1% because at that level you have, again, politics, decisions, ego, a lot of other stuff to, cater along in the deal to get to a deal and, get the money out of the real, elite clubs. So I think they cannot be replaced because at that stage, it's not only about trust, it's about, authority of your brand. It's about your positioning. Again, as I mentioned, it's all about, at that level, there are a lot of people you have to convince and stages you have to pass through, and AI simply cannot do it at all.
All right. And a very, very quick note for you, a quick question for you, that some stats says that in 15 years, next 15 years, sales job will be vanished for humans, not for AI. So do you think will it be possible?
Again, it's a 60% yes and a 40% no. For 60% yes, there are, again, as I said, there are certain functions that are being replaced already.
Yeah. For those using the AI for their assistance.
For example, in a normal business, we always have order takers, for example. They are being replaced. I don't need any human order person to take an order. Even at restaurants, there is this hospitality chain in Los Angeles, and they've already started to hire, remote agents. In their hotel actually. To, simply onboard their customers and guests just through screens. So I don't need any physical human to simply for basic level of functions.
So shift has been already started.
Yes, SDRs are being replaced. Writers are being replaced until they don't have anything specific, best and premium to offer. So there are a lot of functions that are being replaced. Yes.
So that means it's again a 50-50 or 60-40.
Yes.
Okay. And there are so many examples where companies and enterprises, they implemented the AI in different functions in their businesses. For instance, we talk here about McDonald's. McDonald's, what they did is that they implemented the AI drive-through system. And eventually it backfired so badly that, people were served with a bacon-topped ice cream. Imagine, that thing.
That's a famous story. Yeah, this is one really viral. Yeah.
It's horrible. To, serve your people, customers like that. So and eventually what they did is that they overturned their decision and going back to their traditional drive-through systems. So do you think that if bigger enterprises, facing these kind of issues, for smaller businesses, it is even hard. It's a hard decision to implement AI in their business functions.
So basically, there are actually 3 answers to this question because there are actually 3 questions in your.
Absolutely.
So, sticking to the enterprise level first, there are examples also where this has actually worked for some businesses too. There's this coffee chain in China, I just forgot the name, and they're competing Starbucks, and they have exponentially grown in China.
All right.
And the reason
with the same system?
Yes. Using AI. Let's take it. Okay. They've used AI for their predictive analysis only, and it has significantly worked for them. And just to give an example, they've been able to understand, for example, at 11 a.m. in all the coffee shops, what exact flavors or people are mostly consuming, and AI have been giving them those insights, right? And this has helped them, dive deeper and understand their customers' behavior more and more, and simply pivot to what is more favorable to their customers. And it actually worked for them, and they've expanded to countrywide with a very large network of franchises across the country. So coming back to the McDonald's use case, yes, AI at a large level is still messy. It has been messy. So this is what I've been raising, escalating, and talking to the prospects, working with us as well. It's best to start with a small use case actually, and that is the only best way to simply begin with AI, or starting with AI. So they just simply went at a very large scale. See, at an enterprise level, the failure even at a 1% can cost you thousands of dollars.
Yeah,
so that is what has exactly happened for 1% of these companies. Okay. But again, for 0.5 it has worked, and for 0.5 it doesn't. And the reason is there's simply jumping into large scale implementations without real infrastructure in place first. When you're putting AI in such a level, you need to understand that, is my human asset even ready for this? And that is also one of the biggest challenges I've seen. AI is now moving faster than the human asset, and the company have just started to have this fear that we may be left behind. And again, coming back from your last question, this is where people are losing their jobs. So if you're not adapting AI in your workflows, that means you are being able to, you are simply replaceable. So you have to simply ramp up your skill set, your workflows, and a lot of stuff. So the last answer to this is, for SMBs, I believe there is a huge potential. And it has proven to be. And the biggest function where it has proven to be is the customer support actually.
Okay.
Where SMBs has huge potential, starting with a very small use case that they can start with. And even if it actually backfires at their level, you're not facing billions of dollars of loss. You can still amplify, you can still optimize, you can still, come up with a better plan using AI. So the best way to start with AI is simply to solve one problem and just, keep it optimizing and growing eventually.
And what I assess from your answer is, the direction was beautiful of your answer. You started with an answer that, who was successful with the implementation of the AI. And eventually, there are lots of examples with the failure and the success as well. But eventually, we can see that who implemented it in the right
Exactly.
manner, right?
You need to have a right roadmap. With the right governance. And again, start small.
Absolutely.
You already know we have a use case. We already have a client from ENA working with us in the FMCG space, and we're building something very similar, and it has been working for them. But again, we started with a very small use case, but we're expanding it to other sectors.
Testing is very important.
Exactly. So before even that, you need to have clarity of solving a very common problem in your any job function or your work function or business function. This is where things actually happen to change. And then you can simply optimize and upscale your infrastructure.
Absolutely. So another example, you talked about the customer support part, and I think it's quite right to start with the small function to test it first. But there we see another use case where a big name, Sephora actually what they did is to they actually let their customers try the virtual makeup kit to check how they look virtually. This sort of psychological impression or manipulation, I would say, do you think that it actually helps to bring in more sales? Because a person sitting in the home trying something, whether it's about makeup or clothing, he or she is trying it virtually. So these kind of manipulations, what do you think is quite important for the businesses in today's era?
See, let me answer this with another example.
Sure.
When I go on the calls, you've noticed we've been selling, a lot of people are also selling these AI voice agents. All right. So the biggest objection we started to face was that they're not, so native in the accent. It's a bot speaking to me, a lot of other stuff. So as long as if I'm in business and I see if somebody or any system is solving a problem for me, and it is actually bringing tangible outcomes for me, I don't care if it's native or not native. That's what I believe, and I can be wrong, but so this is exactly what Sephora did. Okay. So as long as they have been able to connect with emotions,
And I think it's
a
good.
genuine sale and it's an ethical. They're not forcing and pushing anybody to do that.
Absolutely. And this kind of manipulation is actually good. They are letting people try their...
manipulation is kind of a word that, simply sort of
the
switches the concept. Yes.
Absolutely. Exactly. The rotation of this word is quite on the other side.
But again, as long as anything is solving a problem, helping me make a decision.
That's totally
completely ethical. Yes.
Yeah. All right. So I think it was a very, very nice conversation with you regarding all this, the sales part, the AI part, and eventually everything. So coming on to the last question of this episode, and which I usually ask to every person, but I have two for you. One is for the salespeople, that regarding the current technological interventions in every industry, in every business operation, what's your suggestion for the salespeople that how they can start better? And the second is the general suggestion for the overall community.
I'll start with the second one first, because I believe, for the community, that suggestion is not common anymore, and that is stop debating about AI versus humans. I think we've had a lot already. The future is the combination of both, and I significantly believe this combination can bring some very enticing changes in the world, and that is about to happen. But only for those who are going to adopt this, combination and combined approach. And this is the similar answer to the first question as well. People who want to step into this needs to upskill themselves using AI. They need to adapt. The biggest skill right now, if somebody can do without just simply being out of this chair, is be adaptive to changes happening around you. So that's the first prerequisite of doing anything. Be adaptive to conditions, relationships, emotions, and everything around you, and I believe you can simply nail into your career. So the second thing is just stop. There is a lot of fear when you step into sales. Stop pushing. Have natural conversations. As long as you're able to do that, you'll do great, inshallah.
All right. So it was a great conversation, Usama.
Likewise, Shiraz.
And hoping to have you, very soon again in this podcast. So, and it was a great episode again. And thank you so much for watching us. And keep following us on our social channels and ring the bell icon on our YouTube channel. We'll see you in the next episode.